He's a pro-life, pro-gun, and pro-Trump constitutional conservative seeking to break the grip of partisanship on Washington.
The only way we're actually going to fix anything is if average, everyday people run for office and propose real solutions and drop the political thuggery of my team versus your team.
The Marine Corps veteran says he wants to deliver his conservative message with kindness. His policies still speak directly to the new Republican base, including a Trump-style nationalist approach to foreign policy and immigration.
Because I believe that as a U.S. politician, your job is to focus on U.S. citizens.
The candidate is following in the footsteps of other diverse Granite State Republicans who've run for Congress in recent years. Aciard is an outspoken opponent of critical race theory.
Good morning, everyone. So, I want to go over a few things. Need to get some things off my chest. Anyone who knows me knows that I am bluntly honest, whether you want me to be or not. Right now, we're in the heat of a primary in Pennsylvania with Kathy Barnett and Dr. Oz being the two at the top. Now, Kathy Barnett recently started to pull ahead of Dr. Oz, and he subsequently decided to start attacking her, saying that she is aligned with BLM and stuff. Now, it just strikes me as odd that he would make the claim that she's attached to BLM. The only thing that she has in common with Black Lives Matter is being black. So my question to you is, can you connect the dots? Now, I don't know why Dr. Oz got the endorsement and is even really being considered as a serious candidate in Pennsylvania. But the reality is, this is a joke, and it's a very bad joke. There's nothing in his entire life that shows him as a conservative. There's nothing in his life that shows him as somebody who would be in lockstep with the America First agenda. There is nothing in his life that exhibits the American dream. As a matter of fact, when he was asked whether or not he would remove his Turkish citizenship, Turkey is a socioeconomic and military enemy of the United States seeking to rebuild the Ottoman Empire. Erdogan is not a friend. Interesting enough, he said that he wouldn't do it, and then he said he won, that he would do it. Now, that's the issue with that is he took the position after others already decided that he should take that position, after he started to already get clapback for refusing to get rid of his Turkish citizenship. This is a problem because this shows that the guy is willing to change his position based on the moment. He's willing to change his position based on whatever he receives flack about, which makes him no different than any other politician. What Dr. Oz is actually being considered for, do you understand? I want everyone to understand the gravity of what it means to be an incumbent. Being an incumbent makes it damn near impossible to unseat you unless you seriously screw up, or unless you have the backing of Donald Trump, or you have the backing of somebody else with a very large machine that is able to get rid of this individual. Dr. Oz is not a conservative. He has waffled on many topics. He's waffled on many issues. And the only reason he has the endorsements is he leveraged his network. Now, I've always said I'll be completely honest. I won't back down. I won't shy away from any of the things that I believe in, and I won't lie to you. The reality is that if you vote in Dr. Oz because he has the endorsement of people that you like, you're furthering the problem. You're becoming a part of the problem. The reason we have the Good Old Boys Club in DC, in which real good campaigns can't get any backing, real good campaigns can't get, or good candidates can't get supported, is because of this type of stuff. Which leads me to something that has been bugging many of the black candidates all over the country. It's been bugging many of us all over the place, which is, it's hard to be a black Republican. It's hard to be a black Republican for multiple reasons. One, this type of stuff. When the party has the opportunity to back black candidates, and let me be completely and utterly clear, if you want to win the black vote, you want to win minority vote, you want to win the Asian vote, you actually have to try. And there is no winning the black vote when they see you doing stuff like this. Kathy has been on the ground consistently moving the ball forward, consistently growing the party, building coalitions, working in the community to get things done. She's a hardcore conservative, always has been. I know Kathy. I spent CPAC last year in Orlando with her and Rhonda Kennedy. We were discussing strategy, politics. We discussed everything. What's happening right now, this is just disgusting. Because never in my right mind did I honestly think that we would be in the position where every single one of the black candidates running all over the country would be getting primaried and challenged after just spending years in their communities, building up these communities so that they could be flipped in the near future. Putting these communities in the position where the party might be able to gain a new demographic of voter. Instead, right when we get to the finish line, we have people who join the fight overnight and decide that they're going to take on the mantle and they're going to take these people's place, that all the work that they did means nothing. Now, I take issue with this, and I take issue with this because it's not like it's happening in a vacuum and it's only happening to one or two candidates. It's happening all over the country to every single one of the black candidates and minority candidates that have been running over the past 4 years. Some of these people have run in 2 election cycles. That this will be their second time running. That they've been on the ground for 4 years, pounding the pavement, winning people over by showing what conservatism can do to solve problems at the local and state level, and hopefully that will translate to local, state, and federal Republican voters. But I'll be honest, the average black person sees how you're treating these black candidates, and even though they want to walk away from the Democrats, this is going to put them in a position where they may want to walk away from the Democrats, but they don't see a home with us. And if they don't see a home with us, and let me be completely clear, the RNC does not get credit for bringing in more minority voters in the last election cycle. That was Trump. He did that. Your pundits, all of them, I don't care who they are. I don't care how much you like them. I don't care whether they're black, white, and indifferent. They did not bring in more minorities into the party. That was Trump. Trump did that because he focused on solving the problem, not rhetoric. He wasn't talking about blacks and homicides in Chicago. He was talking about how to get people jobs and education so that they would become self-sufficient, so that they would have money to pour into their community, to contribute to the school system, to put their kids in private school, to put food on their table, to provide their kids better options so that they get better grades, which creates more opportunities. And with more opportunities, you don't go into a life of crime. You don't go into a life of degradation. You don't go onto the streets. Our ladies end up having more stronger moral values. They go to college, they get degrees, they go into the trades, they end up working and making six figures as plumbers and electricians and engineers. Donald Trump provided a solution to the problem, whereas your average pundit talked about the problem. You know, the whole "I'm not black, I'm American" shit. Do you understand how stupid that is? From a marketing perspective, when you're standing in front of an audience and you're trying to win somebody over, your job when you're standing in front of an audience is to build a rapport with that audience, make them understand you, relate to them, let them know that you understand them and you hear them and their concerns, and you have solutions to what they're concerned about, to the problems that they see in their local communities. And what you're really doing when you stand up there as a black candidate in front of a room full of black people, whether it be a church or whatever, is when you start off your sentence with "I'm not black, I'm American," one, you put black at being oppositional to being American, and you put you at being oppositional to the rest of the crowd. They know what color you are. You didn't even have to mention, you didn't have to say that you were black at all. You just had to talk about how to solve the damn problem. They know what color you are. They have eyes. But by standing up there and using the fucking GOP talking point, all you did was prove that you're not one of them, that you're not like them, that you have no interest in being like them, and that somehow separation between being black, which is a fact of life. It's not a choice. You are what you are, or being American. And yes, there's a difference between a black immigrant from Africa or the islands and being a black heretical American, a descendant of slavery. We have different cultures. Cultures matter. Black doesn't represent just the skin color. It represents black American culture as a descendant from slavery and the second wave Irish immigration here and all the other influences that other cultures that had immigrated here throughout that time period over our 245-year history here in America. Okay, we have a unique culture here, different than Jamaica, different than Haiti, different than Ghana, different than Uganda, different than South Africa. Okay, it means African American is not the same as being black American. You get it confused because you don't understand that it is also referencing a culture and a skin tone, a racial difference, and a cultural difference. When you stand up in front of a crowd and you immediately start with creating a barrier between them, you'll never win that crowd over. Because one, you triggered a negative emotion, similar to disgust. Now, to my conservatives, I know we felt the same thing when Hillary Clinton called us all deplorables. See, I'm a lifelong Republican from a family of lifelong Republicans for over 140 years on the black side of my family and on the Italian and Irish side of my family. We all served in the military. Every generation serves. And I got to tell you, you make it so damn hard to be a part of my own damn party. Because I spend all day, every day, having to make up for your mistakes. See, I'm trying to grow the party, and I'm trying to prove what our values are and how they can solve problems at the local level, how conservative principles of governance can solve all the problems that the black community and Hispanic community have been complaining about. how it's liberal policies that have hurt them and how we can do better by just talking about the solution to the problem. You pitch the solution, not the party. I'm selling you the product, not the brand of the product. Okay? We're selling how we can fix people's lives by applying conservative principles of governance, not how we can make them Republicans. I gotta say, making it so damn hard to be a Republican right now. Because one, our party doesn't know our own damn history. I want you guys to understand Juneteenth is coming up, and it is a Republican holiday. It honors the freeing of the last slaves that were notified that the Civil War was over and they were free. Who fought the Civil War to free the slaves? It was Republicans. Who fought to free the slaves in the first place? What party was founded upon that basis? It was Republicans. Was it white Republicans? No. It was white, black, and women Republicans. We were the original Big Tent party. That's why I keep saying, I don't need to tell you, like, I'm not running on my race. But if you need to understand the difference between I'm not black, I'm American, and just simply this, I'm black, I'm Irish, I'm Italian, I'm conservative, I'm a Christian, I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran, I'm a small business owner, a father, a brother, a husband, and I'm a lifelong Republican. And I'm an American. Because in America, we get to have it all. We don't have to choose. In America, I don't have to choose between my heritage and being an American. I don't have to choose between my culture and being an American, because my culture also makes up American culture. It is a subculture of American culture. And that is a good thing. It's one of the things that makes us better than everywhere else. Our various numerous subcultures, and I'm a part of many different subcultures. I love classic cars and I'm into the car culture. I love bikes and I'm into the bike culture. I'm a huge Second Amendment guy and I'm into the Second Amendment culture. I'm pro-life and I'm into the pro-life movement. Okay? I'm for education freedom accounts, so I'm in the school choice movement. I'm a hardcore conservative. I'm in the conservative movement. The culture of the Republican Party is a part of my culture. The culture, the black culture, hip hop culture is a part of my culture. And there is far more to black culture than just hip hop culture. That is a subset of culture within black culture. I also like blues, jazz, Motown. I love I love the three tenors. I love old Italian opera. We've been making mistakes, stupid mistakes. For Juneteenth, the left is going to try to weaponize the holiday again. And I want you to go out there and remind them that it's a Republican holiday and that they're welcome over here. That it's a Republican holiday. That Lift Every Voice and Sing, the Negro National Anthem, as it was originally called, was named so in honor of Abraham Lincoln's birthday, of him freeing the slaves. For God's sakes, Black History Month's foundation is in Negro History Week, which was a celebration of freeing the slaves. The first Republican president got Juneteenth, got the Negro National Anthem and Negro History Week, all in honor of the greatest act that the Republicans ever accomplished. Know your history. Don't get triggered by how the left uses it. Use it back. Hey, you love our history? Hey, welcome. The water's warm over here. We're not going to bite you. Stop making stupid mistakes. What they're doing to Kathy Barnett right now, really trying to attack a hardcore conservative, Christian conservative, black woman running for Senate, who's been running for like 3 years now down in Pennsylvania, to BLM. The only thing she has in common with BLM is being black. Do you not think that we see that? We see that is how she's being attacked. We see the way the pundits and everything are backing Dr. Oz. We see that every time there's a black candidate stands up to run for office, they get shanked by our own party, by our own side. It's hard to be a black Republican. How many of you ever heard of the Lilly White Republican movement? I'm going to give you this little tutorial quick before Juneteenth rolls around so that we don't make the same stupid mistakes all over again. The Lilly White Republican movement, 1877 through 1890, swept across the country, from Texas all the way to Tennessee, purging black people from positions of leadership within the party, purging them from elected offices. Yes, the establishment of the Republican Party traded the leadership and the partnership with the black community for votes in the rural South. Because known as the party of the Negro at the time, they could not win over rural Southerners, or at least they thought they couldn't win over rural Southerners while still having black people in a leadership role in the party. There was another group called the Black and Tans who was fighting back against the Lilly White movement within the Republican Party. The Black and Tans were basically the original MAGA base, the original MAGA movement, the original Tea Party movement, fighting back against the establishment. And years later, and the Lilly White Republican movement won. From 1836 to about 1936. From 1936 to about 1968, if I remember correctly, there were no black Republicans elected at a federal level. Not one. Mind you, we had 17 at the birth of the party. Not to mention at the state level and all over the country. Now we're lucky if we get a couple. Right now we have Byron Donalds and Tim Scott. Is it starting to click yet? It's not the base that has a problem with black candidates. Not by a long shot. As a matter of fact, in my state, New Hampshire, I've received nothing but support. The party has not fought me. The party has not stabbed me in the back. They don't even use the stupid talking points you hear used by pundits at the national level. My party has supported me. Yes, I'm on Twitter. And I'm on IG. My party has done nothing but support me. Okay, my state party has done a damn good job. If I have a question, they've helped. If I need something, they help. I'm cordial with all the other candidates up here. As Max, some of them I have drinks with and I smoke cigars with. But I gotta tell you, it's going to be almost damn near impossible to bring these black voters. You know, the Republican Party, or let me say, the Democrat Party doesn't even target black men. They spit on them. They spit on them. You have black activists, black female activists on the left literally said that black men are the white supremacists of black people. Yeah. Democrats, let me ask you something. Democrats have run the arts and run the media pretty much since the country's entire history. If they've run the media and if they've run the academia and they pretty much run the arts, this nation's entire history, that means every stereotype that you have about black people was created by the left. if for all the way up until the 60s, say the end of the 60s, they were making policies directly to attack the black community, that means during that time and ever since, they've not only created policies to attack the black community, they've also run the media, which has created all the negative stereotypes surrounding the black community. That means they are also the gatekeepers as to what music gets produced by the black community, what movies get produced regarding the black community. Why do you think every time you see a black person in a movie, if they're not playing a historical figure, they're playing a stereotype, and usually a negative stereotype? Why do you think it's okay to produce music about black people killing black people, but not okay to produce the same type of music about white people killing white people? Would that be socially acceptable? And let me ask you, for those of you who were original hip hop fans when it first came out, Naughty by Nature, Slick Rick, Run DMC, Grandmaster Flash, African Bambaataa, all of you people, all of you guys who were original hip hop fans, when did you notice the change? When these people were talking about issues and the plight of their communities and how they want to solve the communities, basically holding the government accountable and using the arts and music to do it, kind of like rock and roll and blues and jazz and big band music. Seems like every major popular style of music in society has come out of what the elites call the dregs of society. Rock and roll didn't come from the elites. They called it the devil's music. Blues didn't come from the elites. They called it the devil's music. Hip hop didn't come from the elites. They called it devil's music. All of them rise out from the population, from the average man and woman dealing with the struggles of life, asking for change. And every time the cries go ignored, we get an artistic revolution. What happened was, instead of listening to the cries of change when it came to hip hop, rock and roll, and blues, they kept ignoring it and ignoring it and ignoring it and ignoring it. And then with hip hop, they backlashed. By the way, the exact same arts industry, the exact same media industry, the exact same governmental agencies that have turned on you now, they backlashed against those very same people. So what did you end up getting? You end up getting the LA riots. You end up getting the bombing in Detroit. You end up getting the type of shit that we've seen consistently throughout history. See, you only got taught one side of history. Now, being someone who is a historian, who did study all of history, I can tell you right now, and none of those were conservative principles of governance. None of those were Republican policies designed to help people. 94 crime bill, using the system of government to directly attack black and Hispanic men. According to Joe Biden's own words, sounds like systemic racism. Locking up an entire generation of black men, destroying an entire generation of families, creating an entire generation of single mothers, giving welfare to keep somebody subservient in the position that they're in and not putting them in a better position to where they can climb out of it and become self-sufficient again, making it easier to recidivize and go back to prison than to get a job and return to society and reintegrate and become a productive member of society, and help stopping young boys from going down the same path that you went down. Sounds like systemic racism. But guess what? It's not Republican policies. It's not conservative policies. See, conservatism is the conservation of the Constitution, the Republic, and the inalienable rights of individuals. At what point does any of that sound like limited government? At what point does any of that sound like accountable government? At what point does any of that sound like an authentic plan to solve a problem? At what point does that sound like anything that we stand for? It doesn't. It is the use of governmental systems to keep people in their place, kind of like what they're doing right now with vaccine mandates, mask mandates, kicking people out of school board meeting, arresting them, beating them down on the street for not wearing a mask while you're sitting in your car praying in a parking lot socially distanced during a pandemic, which is a Fourth Amendment violation. Arresting people on the streets for not wearing a mask. Pulling people out of their church, shutting down churches, which is a First Amendment violation. Walking into those churches that you tried to shut down, which is a First Amendment violation. Arresting those people, which is a fourth. Walking into churches without a warrant, which is a Fourth Amendment violation. How many times are we going to have to learn? I'm not asking you to do anything special, but to take every single conservative principle of governance and apply it to each situation. When you hear the left complain about a problem, look at the problem that they're complaining about, apply the conservative principles of governance to that problem, and see if there is a conservative solution to that problem. That is what Donald Trump did. That's why he was successful. That's why he was able to bring black people into the party. That is why your pundits are able to do the exact opposite and drive them away. They're not applying principles of governance to a problem. They're applying talking points to a problem. And we're never going to get anywhere doing that. We're in a position where it seems almost like the leadership of the party does not want black candidates at the national level, at the federal level. That unless we use their talking points and tap dance for them, that we won't get the support. I'm asking you, how did Dr. Oz even become something you would consider? The guy's been on both sides of every issue. Unlike Trump, Trump had 40 years of talking exactly the same, speaking exactly the same on each and every issue that was a part of his campaign. 40 years ago, he sounded like a Republican. Regardless of what party he voted for, in all of his interviews, they were congruent. The points of view were the same. They all meshed together. It was a long history of him saying the same thing over and over and over again. There is not the same history of Dr. Oz taking the same positions and being an America First candidate or being a hardcore constitutionalist. You cannot save the country without growing the party and growing the movement. There are many strategists out there telling you that you can do it, that we don't need to spend money and time and effort doing it that way, but they're wrong. We're supposed to be voting for people based on their values, based on where they stand on issues, based on their ability to walk into the fray, to go once more into the fray. You want somebody who can take punches on the chin and keep on going. Somebody who really, really cares about getting on the ground and moving the movement forward. People who really care more about the movement than they do about themselves. All right, here's a shout out. I suggest you go take a look at the Renaissance pack. Take a look at all the candidates in that pack, because I've seen them all on the ground really putting in the work. Real grassroots candidates, not just taking pictures and doing photo ops. Real grassroots candidates. I started my candidacy with voter integrity, with election integrity, and the Wyndham voting machine audits in my state. I helped school board candidates. I helped moms, New Hampshire moms, fight our school boards who had tried to have them arrested. I spoke at my own school board on their trying to push CRT into the schools, and I explained what it was, and I explained why it's not necessary. and how we can teach Black history without teaching kids to be victims and without teaching that all white people are oppressors. We can teach people. See, when I teach my son about our history, about our heretical history, and the way my mom and my dad taught me is from a position of resilience. This is what we accomplish in face of unsurmountable odds throughout history. That there is not a damn thing in this world that we can't accomplish if we keep on moving. Doesn't mean the injustices are allowed to go on unchecked, because a law that is unjust and an affront to the Constitution is no law at all and ought to not be followed and to be struck down immediately. But teaching from a point of resilience, you're teaching somebody that will always overcome the odds, that will always overcome the hurdles in front of them. That's how I teach my kids. That there's not a damn thing that they can't do. And they're very, very intelligent for that exact reason. We're in a weird place in this country right now. Fanboy politics has taken over. The overt worship and overt hatred of politicians. I look at politicians simply. They're individuals. They get things right, they get things wrong. I don't hate them, I don't love them. I support good policy, I don't like bad policy. I support good comments and good rhetoric, I don't support bad rhetoric and bad comments. People are individuals, and I take them as individuals, and I take their actions individually. Some people, their actions, their comments, the way they act, and the legislation they back, they land more on the bad side than they do on the good side, and vice versa. If we're going to save this country, we need to be honest, and we need to stop accepting less than what we deserve. Stop settling. Stop settling for rhetoric. Stop settling for the pomp and circumstance. Stop settling for the pom-poms. Stop settling for the confirmation bias. I know it's addicting. I know it's great to hear that you're beautiful. It's great to hear that you're awesome. It's great to hear that you were right. It's great to hear that the other guy was wrong. But often enough, just like salesmen, just like hookers, just like strippers, just like drug dealers, used car salesmen, lawyers, they tell you what you want to hear, but aren't really giving you or doing what they told you that they would do. Confirmation bias is a weapon that political elites use against the average citizen in order to get us emotional so that we stop thinking about issues logically, holding them accountable, asking them real questions, vetting them before they get to DC, before they get to the governor's seat, before they get to the state rep seat, before they get to the state senate seat, before they end up running for president. Stop lowballing your candidates. Stop asking them weak questions. Hold us accountable. We will not be able to serve you properly if we are not properly vetted. It's not just for you so you know who you're voting for. It also prepares us for that next step. I enjoy being challenged. I revel in it. It makes my day. I can tell you right now that if something doesn't change, we're going to be in a real bad place. Well, that's the update I wanted to give to you. Next week, I'll be doing a fundraiser, and it'll be at Murphy's Tap Room in Manchester. And I will be having a special guest, Lieutenant Colonel Scheller. Yes, that is the Lieutenant Colonel, the Marine Corps Lieutenant Colonel, who endorsed me and endorsed Don Bolduc and went toe-to-toe against the Biden administration over the Afghanistan war, the withdrawal from Afghanistan. I'm honored to have his endorsement. I'm honored to be in such good company. We'll be doing a fundraiser. The tickets will be $50. You'll hear me speak. You'll hear Lieutenant Colonel Scheller speak. You'll hear both of our stories. I will also be doing another fundraiser coming very soon. Kimberly Klasick will be coming up for that fundraiser. So I look forward to hearing you guys soon. But please go out there, get on the ground, change things. And when you find a candidate, for God's sakes, knock doors for them, wave signs for them, put a sign in your yard for them, donate to the candidate, help move the ball forward, because just showing up on election day isn't enough. We need you to help get 10 more people to show up to vote on election day. And I don't mean 10 people total. I mean 10 people a week. Talk to 10 people a week. Tell them you got this great candidate, stands for everything that you stand for and will fix the problems, actually has solutions. Tell them to get out and tell 10 more people and 10 more people and 10 more people. You donate $5. Get 10 more people to donate $5. Get 10 more people. Get them to get 10 more people to donate $5. That's how you back a candidate, so that they don't have to go to the elite, so that they don't have to go to Mr. Big Bucks, because Mr. Big Bucks can only donate $2,800. He can only donate $2,800. But now in a 2-year election cycle, you could donate, say, $25 a week. And it adds up. So now you're going toe-to-toe with that big donor. That's what I'm talking about. Leveraging your time, leveraging your dollar to help save the country. We don't get to be lackadaisical anymore. It's too late. I'm just trying to solve problems in my local community. I'm trying to change how we do politics. I'm trying to change what we expect from candidates. And I'm trying to move the movement forward. In my mind, you can't be governor and you can't be the leader of the Republican Party in New Hampshire. You can't be the leader of a movement if you don't believe in moving the movement forward. If you don't believe in the long-term win. If you don't believe in growing the party. I believe in liberty. I believe in getting us back to the Constitution. I believe that we need to be growing the party. We can never, ever settle ever again. Thank you. I'll be giving you guys more updates as things happen. I'll be doing a church tour, a God and Country tour all over the state, where I'll be doing revivals. We'll be speaking about the role, and I'll be speaking about the role of Christ and faith in politics and in society. Or I should say in society. And I will be doing a veterans tour around the state. We'll be talking about veterans issues and how we can help fix problems with the VA and try to solve the veterans homelessness issue. For many of you guys know, I was a homeless veteran myself, and it's time to not just talk about it. It's time to be about it. And I will also be doing a college tour around the state, because we need to win and bring in that next generation. We need to change things long term. We need to reach these young people, not by selling the party, but by selling the solution to the problem based on conservative principles of governance. But I'll talk to you guys later. God bless. Have a wonderful day. Please go to my website. Please like, share, retweet, send this to everyone. Tell them to hop on and support the campaign and support us trying to save New Hampshire. Make New Hampshire the freest state in the country. Have a good day. Bye.
pro-life, pro-gun, and pro-Trump constitutional conservative seeking to break the grip of partisanship on Washington.
The only way we're actually going to fix anything is if average everyday people run for office and propose real solutions and drop the political thuggery of my team versus your team.
The Marine Corps veteran says he wants to deliver his conservative message with kindness. His policies still speak directly to the new Republican base, including a Trump-style nationalist approach to foreign policy and immigration.
Because I believe that as a U.S. politician, your job is to focus on U.S. citizens.
The candidate is following in the footsteps of other diverse Granite State Republicans who've run for Congress in recent years. Aciard is an outspoken opponent of critical race theory